I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our guest presenter for today, Sensei Kevin Tamai from Hui Judo in Beltsville, Maryland. Sensei Tamai is a 6th-degree black belt. Kevin will share his philosophy and his teaching methods used in developing the Judoka into an all-around good person. I present to you Sensei Kevin Tamai.
Hello, everybody. Like Mitchell said, I'm Kevin Tamai. I run a club in Beltsville, Maryland. We are different than some of the clubs as we are run through the community center, through Maryland Park and Planning Commission. So we are not a for-profit club. We are definitely a community-based club going through. I've been doing judo my whole life. We had mats in our basement growing up as kids. There were actually 6 of us to my kids going through. I live a very busy life. It's always hard to balance things going through, but they always say, you know, give things to a busy guy. I work full time. My job is about an hour away and I travel a lot with my job. I'm a project manager for a special events company. I have a wife and 3 kids. My oldest son is grown and out on his own. My oldest daughter is a senior in college right now. My youngest daughter is a freshman in high school. Beyond judo, I spend a lot of time doing volunteer work. I do work with the Knights of Columbus and with the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. I work with a family shelter here. I do a lot with a group called Project Menda House, repairing homes for senior citizens. And I'm also on lots of boards and councils with the PTA and the Principals Advisory Councils for the schools. So it's always hard to get things done. And like I said, my judo club is also a good hour away on top of that. So, you know, with DC traffic, it takes me, you know, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours or more to get around the Beltway to get up to judo. Different than, you know, most of my senior senseis that went through. Life's always a tough balance of judo can't be my highest priority. Family always has to come first going through, but my family is very good. My wife lets me do judo because she knows how much I love it, how much I enjoy doing it. So let me start off by, you know, we're talking about what makes good judoka. And I think, you know, most people that join judo are going to be good judoka going through. They're choosing to come to us to learn judo. We look at everybody as a very unique individual going through. We don't run a planned syllabus thing going through that everybody's kind of cookie cuttered and goes through the same way. I have a lot of senseis in my dojo. I'm very fortunate to go through and have lots of people that can teach. Everybody comes from a different background and does things a little bit different ways. So it's never a my way or the highway teaching philosophy. I encourage everybody to step up, to teach, to share, to give their opinions going through. I try to give them ideas as they're going through. I'm not an expert. I'm not a teacher. You know, I wasn't trained to do that. But I do live and I do love judo. Balancing off everything that I do. Again, I'd like to make a special shout out to everybody that's here, to your spouses that allow you to do judo, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we really love. We've been in Shufu since we started our club. Shufu was one of the first Yudanchikais that were started back in the 1953. It was the largest Yudanchikai back in the day, forming most of the East Coast going through. I was very blessed growing up to have incredible senseis, you know, that came before me. They kind of paved the way for judo for us. Jimmy Takamori, Dr. Koriwai, Thomas Dalton, John Anderson, incredible judo leaders that kind of, you know, paved for what we're doing now. And then even today, people like Roy Englert, Edwin Takamori, Dick, Hugh are still great mentors to go through to encourage, growth, development, and, constantly going forward. Our club was started by my dad back in the early 70s. He actually grew up in Hawaii and did his judo there, and then moved to Michigan for college, and then came to DC. He started our club with park and planning back in the early 70s. We were in Berwyn Heights at the time, and it was a very small family community-based kind of program. He wound up going to work early in the morning so that he could get off to teach after-school programs. He taught 5 different after-school programs at middle and elementary schools. And then we eventually outgrew the Berwyn Heights Community Center, and we moved over to Beltsville in 1980. And then my brothers also branched off in 2000 to start another club, College Park Judo. Talked about my dad. My dad was incredible. Obviously, my big hero in life going through, and my mentor growing up. Taught me everything I know. He actually met my mom and doing judo at the Washington Judo Club, and they fell in love. They had us 6 kids, and he always did what he believed was best for judo and best for growing things. And people called him a grumpy curmudgeon a lot of times, but he really loved judo and loved everything that he did going through. This is a shot of some of us, to my kids, going through. One of my sisters isn't there, but that's 2 of my sisters, 2 of my brothers, my mom, and then my brother's wives, and some of the grandkids going through. We are really my dad's legacy, carrying on what he taught us and carrying on judo going through. And I think that's what's important for all of us, is what is our legacy going through? How are we going to grow and expand judo as we go through? For us, UEO Judo, we were the 3rd dojo in the country to get the USJF 5-star dojo award. My brother's club, College Park Judo, was the 6th dojo to go through and do that. USJF is very good about recognizing clubs of excellence. So we have teacher certification, we have coach certification, referee certification, kata certification, in addition to running, clinics and tournaments and other stuff going through. So we're very honored to be one of the first dojos going through to receive that honor. Who are our judokas? Our judokas, again, are not really big world-class athletes. They're very local, recreational players going through. I think for most people, people that are coming into judo are recreational judo players. They're not going to be the Olympic athletes going through. They're everyday normal kids that are trying a new sport, have seen something, had a friend do it. For us, a lot of our kids are homeschooled kids. Also kids that have learning challenges, and the parents put them in judo because of the things that they hear about the benefits of judo going through. So they may have, spectrum imbalances or ADD or ADHD type of things going through. And we always feel that it's our job to make everybody really love judo and instill in them the things that we learned about all the beauty of judo and all the things that we really want. So what I want to talk about today a little bit is, how do we develop that love? How do we plant those seeds? And then how do we kind of cultivate it and nourish that going through? So for us at UEO Judo, we really try to teach the love of learning judo. It's a lifetime of learning. We try to make it a very nurturing place where everybody feels that they can learn, that they can grow on a lot of different levels too. That, it's not just about, learning the judo moves and stuff going through, it's growing as a person. So we talk a lot about character. We talk a lot about, how to make them better people and how judo is going to make them a better person going through. We try to instill in them, not only the judo techniques, but, the confidence to be good people, to step outside their comfort zones and to do really good things to contribute to society. A big part of everything we do is Jitakoa, mutual welfare and benefit. We really focus on the whole person going through. We see everybody as an individual. Everybody has something to bring to the table. Everybody has something to share with us. We look at obviously our core values of character and respect, friendship, honesty, going through. We very much stress basics in everything I teach. My dad always taught us, learn one throw, learn it well. You don't need to know 100 throws. When Yamashita came and was teaching us from Japan, he said the same thing. Learn one technique, learn it well, and practice, practice, practice. Most of the great senseis that I've worked with over the years have all stressed that as well, that building a good solid foundation is the key to judo. Having good ukemi, having good shisei and good taisobaki, or having those fundamentals is building your judoka. If they have those skills, it's just like building a building. A good foundation will make a solid structure for the future. I think that we really create that lifetime of love for judo, and really get a lot of people back in. Kind of really wanted us to grow as people. He really felt, at least from everything I've read and learned and was taught, that the key to judo is becoming a better person and sharing what we know with others going through. It's never, important to be better than anybody else, just to improve ourselves every day going through. Our students, when I start them off as kids, they always learn first thing out, they have 3 jobs in our club: protect their partners and keep their partners safe, being a good partner for who they're working with, and making themselves better. And the kids have to repeat that pretty much on everything we go through and do. We teach that everything in our dojo really applies to what they do in their life. So bowing when they come in, respecting themselves, respecting others, respecting the world. They bow when they come into the dojo, they bow on the mat, they bow to their partners. We're always thanking each other for helping them to get better and to improve themselves. All of our kids, all of our judoka know that, and that's, core to what we do. Everybody benefits from doing judo. Everybody, grows together. So how do we create, these kids going through? For us, or for me especially, I focus a lot on character. It's not so much about learning, lots of techniques and stuff going through. It's making them a better person. We stretch education all the time. Kano was an educator. So I do a lot with the kids on, bringing their report card, showing me improvement. The kids are always excited to come and tell me before class starts about their school and what they're doing, reports that they made going through. We do a lot with the education, giving them scholar athlete awards. They get medals, they get trophies, they get certificates and stuff going through. And we always encourage them to, step up and share with us all the things. And the kids are really excited to do that every time. And it's always kind of fun that the kids come up and say, Sensei, I want to be just like you. I want to teach judo. I want to do these things. And I was like, no, you guys need to do it better than me. I try to improve every day going through, and they do too. So it's always a really good feeling to go through and do that. One of the other things that we do is we have a summer reading program for a lot of the kids that are out of school. I do it on different age levels going through. So younger kid, again, it's kind of an all awards-based thing to do education outside of the dojo. Younger kids can have their older brother or sister read them books, and they can come back and tell me, or they can draw a picture, or whatever they want to do going through. The older kids, I try to get them to write reports, but they usually like to come and tell me all about the books they read. Based on the number of books they read, they get different prize level kind of things going through. They might get, a t-shirt or a backpack or, a hat or a gift card or something else going through. But the kids really enjoy coming back and sharing the different books. I let them read whatever they want. But it's always a good way to promote, education through the summer. And the parents really, like seeing that too. I talked about our Scholar Athlete Awards. Again, we're always looking for just improvement. I'm not looking for straight A students, although most of my kids really are. And I'm proud of all of them for that they're, either A's or S's and everything going through. But what I'm really looking for is a lot of the more challenged kids, because they have, an ADHD or an ADD and have a hard time concentrating, that they're getting, from an S- to an S, or, a C to a, C+ or something going through, that they're always trying to make improvements going through. And the parents give me a lot of good feedback that the kids are improving every time and how much judo has helped them going through. For our program, we start kids really young, at 6 years old, but we have a lot of kids that are younger siblings of our judoka going through. So a lot of times we have 3, 4, 5-year-olds on the side of the mat that are rolling around and doing other things too. So a lot of times one of the senseis will actually run a whole kind of separate sibling program kind of going through. All during COVID, I actually ran a separate class that was all the little siblings going through, and we did, an hour going through of just fun games and stuff going through. And, these are little 4 and 5-year-olds that were able to sit on Zoom with me the whole time and do different things. So it was really, to me, a great feeling to go through and do that with them. And again, we talked about the same things of what they did and, how they're helping their brothers or sisters or how they're helping out at home. And they get really excited to come on and say, what chores they did or what else they did to kind of become better.
Kevin?
Yeah.
A question to go back to your the book club, the book reading. So how can you share some of the details of how do you do it? Is it a separate time before class? Is it after class? Is it or is it just a separate time? How do you actually do it?
So for me, it has really nothing to do with our actual judo class time, because we only get together twice a week for 2 hours. So I never want to take that time away from them. My dad always had the kids, if you don't have your homework done, you sit on the side of the mat and you have to have your homework done, and he has to check your homework before you're allowed to get on the mat. But for me, the book club is really, they read on their own. They have, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to be at home reading. It gives them something to do. So they're really reading at home. They're drawing their pictures at home, and then they just bring it to the club to share with me. And usually they're giving their little book reports, kind of in between, either before as the mats are being set up or something going through, or, during a water break or something, they want to come over and tell me. And they're always really excited to share, what stories they've read, or, and they're welcome to read the same book, multiple times too. Cause I have some kids that'll read books, the same story 4 or 5 times, just because they like going through and they tell me something, different about the story, or they draw a different picture or something for me. So, again, I think it's just a good, positive way to encourage education on a different level going through, and to tie it up again into judo and to share those rewards.
So that'll be integrated with the practice then, like you said, if there's a water break, it'll take 5 minutes or so on, kids will come up, show you what they got.
Yep, exactly. It's not really part of class. There have been times that we have, when we do, a circle time or something with the kids that, they're just so excited they want to get up and share. And so it's great, get up and share with the class. Tell us about, the Giving Tree book that you read, or tell us about, the Little Engine That Could, whatever book they happen to read, the kids want to share that. They're excited. So most of my kids are not inhibited by standing up and speaking and sharing what's on their mind. So
we have a question from Mickey.
Kevin, do those kids does that count for points towards promotion or anything?
No, not for me. It's not part of promotions. We actually follow Shufu kind of guidelines going through. It's more about just making them, learn the value of education, to have them share with us. Again, it's all just a co-A. Share what you know, share your knowledge going through. So, whatever knowledge they gain, I want them to share it with me and with the rest of the class going through. So no, it's not tied to their promotion. They don't have to read so many books to get their yellow belt or anything else. It's more of just an added benefit of judo.
Kevin, go back to, can you kind of get in detail of the sibling program that you run? You're just starting to talk about that.
So it's not really a program that we run. There are so many extra kids that wind up coming that we're technically not allowed to start judo yet, because through Park and Play, and we made our 6-year-old was our starting age going through. But even like, Tyler Smith started out, his dad was in and his brother, and he was a little toddler sitting on the side of the mat. So my dad would sit on the side of the mat with him, and, they'd be coloring or doing, little math problems or something else going through. But we have a lot of little brothers and sisters that are, 3, 4, 5 years old. Some of them, the senseis have to bring their kids with them. They give their wives a little peace and quiet at home, so they bring them to judo too. And like I said, luckily we have a lot of senseis going through. So one of the senseis will do, games and stuff with the kids on the side, and, do judo kemi down the mat, or, bear crawls and things like that going through. And the kids all, wind up learning, Keisukatami and Ogoshis, and, how to take good falls and go through. And then, we incorporated them in when we're doing, a lot of our mat work or back-to-back kind of things. So. That
Cool.
answer your question enough, or?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Any other questions so far? Am I going too fast? Is it okay for everybody?
With Donnie, talking about Donnie? You have to unmute, Chuck. We still can't hear you, Chuck. No. You try again, Chuck. No, we still can't hear you. You want to put it in the chat? Put your question in the chat or comment. Okay. Sorry, Kevin.
That's okay. Should I wait for him, Mitchell, or?
No. Just continue.
Okay. We can come back to it.
Yeah.
So a lot of what we do is also, how do you make your impact on the world? That, learning judo is good, but, how do you share that? What is your impact on your community, your home and stuff going through? So we encourage our judo guided to do things outside of the club and to come back and share with us, some of the things that they do. What they do, not only in their homes, but around their school or throughout their community and stuff going through. Kids tell me about other sports that they play or scouting activities that they might go out and do. Families that take walks and say, oh, we go through and we always take a bag with us and pick up trash in our neighborhood. So it's always good to see what the kids are doing and how they're giving back outside of the dojo going through. And again, we try to go back and reward the kids for, different ideas that they may have come up with or things that their family are doing, because judo is not about just, again, the people on the mat. And we stress a very big, judo is about family, judo is about others. Judo is about contributing to, their community and society around us and making everything better.
So how is that incorporated within the class? Is that, again, how do you incorporate that?
Again, the kids to us, love coming in and telling us, what they're doing, whether they were, at a swim meet or a soccer game or something going through and what they did. We talk a lot about, what have you done at home? What extra chores have you done? What have you done for your, to help your brothers or sisters, or, did you make a new friend at school today? And, who's your new friends kind of going through? They like, again, telling us about, picking up trash or other things that they do. So again, it's sharing, within the class, especially for the kids, what are they doing? And that, little things make a big difference. We talk about, if they're driving around, if they see, trash on the street, how does it make them feel, about their neighborhood, or, how often do they do, extra things and stuff going through?
So Dr. Madani's question was, do you speak with the parents about your process to reinforce these life lessons?
I do speak to the parents. We have some parent meetings going through, but it's really, I try not to put the onus so much on the parents. The parents here, because most of our parents stay for classes and are listening and watching the classes as they go through. I try to put it on the kids to be able to come back to me to, share their experiences, to share their reading and stuff they're doing. We send out lots of communication going through emails, through newsletters, Facebook posts and stuff like that. I am not the young hip social media guy, so I don't do a lot of, Snapchat or Twitter or stuff like that going through. But the parents, they have my phone number. They call me all the time, and or ask questions, or share with me other things that, they don't want to tell you this, but, because some kids are shy. So sometimes the parents will send me an email or call me and say, little Johnny has done this. And, I make a point of, bringing that up in class and highlighting that. Some of the great things, when, one of the kids gets his Life Scout, or when he, one of the kids wins a swim meet or something going through, I try to highlight that there is more to life than just judo going through, and doing these other things is what makes us good all around people.
Thank you.
Hey, Ken.
Gary?
Yeah, I love what you're doing, and since I resumed teaching again in July, I can't tell you how similar my approach has been. But one thing I've been able to figure out is how to add the other principle into judo so that the kids could relate to it. What I tell them is to focus. I tell them, don't waste your energy. When you're not focusing, like on a teacher or somebody's distracting you, this is a waste of your energy. And I tie this into the second principle. And I even had a kid come to me the other day and say, there was a kid talking up in the class, and I told him, you're wasting your energy.
Good. That's awesome. It's a good way to tie it in.
Good. So if everybody had a chance to look at what Margie sent in on the chat, thank you, Margie, for bringing that out. All right, Kev, sorry.
That's okay. Another part of our club is obviously reaching out in the community. We do a lot, because we're sponsored by the Park and Planning. So we encourage our judoka to get out and serve their community and go through. We have our local community festivals that we do, and we are typically one of the sponsors and participate by doing, demos and having a little booth up. We also put out, mats, and are doing some, actually judo with people as they come through, in addition to being up on the stage and giving a demonstration and going through. We've done programs on, self-defense, on anti-bullying. Every year we do a program with the Teenage Girl Scouts going through. That's part of their high adventure for the older girls in this area. And while some, will go through and do, rock climbing or whitewater rafting or something, a lot of them try judo and they love it. And we've been asked back every year because we get such great feedback, and so do the Girl Scouts, of what an awesome program it was going through. We've gone to Cub Scout meetings and Boy Scout meetings, and done little triad programs with them. We bring a couple mats and roll them out. We support our local fire department. They have a fire fest every year for the volunteer fire department, and we're a supporter for that going through. We help sponsor that and donate to our fire department, as well as, we do a demo down there. The National Night Out every year in August, we participate in that as well. So we really try to be a part of our community and to share, our judo with everybody else that's around. I'm big on involving parents. That it's not just about the kids going through. Typically, once the kids start, the parents are like, "Oh, I'm here anyway. I might as well come out and do it too." So we encourage the parents to come be a part. If they're not going to be out on the mat, then if they're sitting there, they're going to be part of our welcoming committee, coming through as people, poke their head in the gym to just kind of welcome them in. So when the sensei doesn't have to, stop what they're doing to come over. The kids love having us talk about their parents. The family that's up here is the neighbor's family. Little Nath started, the little boy there, and then his sister wanted to join in. She actually started in, and then the dad was like, "Okay, both kids are in, I'll come too," to give mom some quiet time at home. When we do club shiais at the dojo, my parents, sit down and do, electronic scoreboards or run brackets and stuff. Ed just went up with me to Baltimore with his two kids, and they're like, "Oh, you're here," and he kind of helped run all the brackets and go through and do stuff and showed the other parents that were there, how it's not rocket science. You can go through and do this too, and spend a lot of time going through and explaining things, rather than being out there coaching his kids and stuff too. So involving our parents, involving the rest of the family going through. When we run tournaments and stuff, a lot of times the parents will come because they've learned stuff at the dojo. They'll come and help work our tables for timing and scoring. Brothers and sisters will come and help out going through. And even our younger judoka, if they're fighting in the morning, their work tables and stuff when we're running seniors and stuff. So it's always good to get the spouses involved and the rest of the family involved too. One of the big things that always was fun growing up was traveling for judo. Traveling together builds a lot of great friendships going through. As a little kid, my dad would load up the station wagon with, 4 or 5 kids or 8 kids, and then we got a van. He'd take as many as we could, and he traveled every weekend to a tournament, supporting all the local, small tournaments going through. When he couldn't fit any more, he'd get another parent to go through and help drive too. We have great memories growing up of going to up to Philadelphia for the Liberty Bell, or up to Buffalo for AMCAMs and stuff going through. It just builds a whole nother level of club cohesion going through that we really enjoy. My sister Diane loves going out, when she travels, and, finding new wineries or places to visit like that too, or breweries and stuff going through with the adults. So we really have a good time when we travel together. And again, I think that's an important part of, growing judo as well. We try to acknowledge all of our students and their achievements going through, like I said, not just, what they do going through. Again, these 2 kids were just up in Baltimore at a tournament, so they get highlighted, both at the club and on our Zoom and, on our newsletters and stuff. But we encourage the parents to tell us about other things they're doing outside the dojo. Whether they, played soccer, they won a school award, or, they, whatever else they happen to do, to share that with us. And then we try to highlight that, in the club as well. To again show how well-rounded they are. A lot of the kids play musical instruments, and they want to come back and tell us about their dance performance that they did for the girls, or that they that their band concert or something else going through. So it's always good to hear those kind of things. And I think the judoka overall, really get good feedback from that, and are just beaming ear to ear going through when we share those kind of things. again, we give lots of shout out to our parents. The kids like hearing, that they're, thanks to their dad for helping out at the tournament, or their mom for cooking and bringing brownies in or something. Some parents sit there and take attendance for us. Other ones are, again, like I said, welcoming people in, going through. We always need lots of support going through, because without the parents, doing these other things, it would take us away from, teaching and being out on the mat with everybody. Reaching beyond our club, I think developing good judoka is also reaching out beyond what we do. Sensei Mark Smith, that was in our club for a lot of years and passed away a few years ago, had started a program with the DC VA as an adaptive judo program for wounded warriors going through. Then they might have PTSD, they might have lost a limb, they could be blind, lots of different challenges going through. And he would go down, he would actually pick up, different veterans, take them to the center, do the judo with them, and then drive them home afterwards too. He had a van that he went through and did that with. One of his judoka was an actually silver medalist in the Paralympics as well, and she was instrumental in encouraging other people to come in and do stuff. Through that, we partnered with the WABA group, which is the Metropolitan Washington Association of Blind Athletes. The person I was just speaking of, Lori Pierce, was kind of instrumental too in helping us to build that partnership and go through. We started doing blind low vision judo tri programs. We did it at UEO, and we also ran one at College Park. It was a great program to show all the wonderful things of judo. And we presented it as, when you're visually impaired, learning how to fall, not being afraid to fall and knowing how to fall properly. And then built in a lot of the confidence that you get from doing judo. And it was a really good program going through. Since Mark passed away, Mayor Max has taken over the program and is really taking it to a whole new level going through. So we're really proud of him stepping up from College Park Judo to run that program. One of our senseis, Chris Howe, does a lot of mission work around the world. He travels every year to Micronesia, and he actually takes judo with him and teaches judo to the kids the month that he's there going through. He actually he's supporting the Afghans right now. He has an Afghan family of 6 living at his house that he helped to get out. He does a carpet dyeing business and carpet coloring. So one of the families he was working with over there needed, help to get out, and he helped sponsor them, bring them here, and they're actually living at his house now. I'd like to give a big shout out to, 2 senseis that actually started in our club, Lisa Capriati and Robert Guthrow. They started judo with us, but had moved down to South Carolina and have really taken judo down there to a whole new level going through. And I can't tell you how incredibly proud I am of both of them for everything they're doing. They are world-class kata champions going through. They travel with my brother and sister, Diane and Carl, representing Team USA around the world. They are incredible at running tournaments now, and providing kata clinics and referee clinics, travel around supporting stuff. And again, they're like, "Oh, Sensei, we're just doing, kind of what you've always taught us and what you've done." And I was like, "No, you guys are taking it to a whole new level." So I'm always proud to see those kind of things grow out of, what we started and what we do, and that we planted that seed, and that seed is then grown into a tree and is now spreading out to other people going through too.
Kurt, hold on a second. Yeah, Margie's gonna throw some. Margie.
Yeah, Mitch asked me to point out, and I think Kevin already touched on it, but I wanted to reiterate, and I hope I'm not taking any of his thunder for the rest of the program. But he also has mini parties after a promotion or after a tournament where we'll quit a little bit early, and some of the senseis will bring mini cupcakes and juice, and we'll celebrate the kids who placed at the tournament or after promotions. And then we also shout out to the parents so the kids can hear that their parents are doing good things for the club, and they're proud of their parents for the parents helping during the tournaments or just in the club. And we have a Christmas party and a summer party where he gives out his awards for the kids' schooling, and shouts out to the senseis for all the help that they do during the year. So everybody gets recognition for not only what they've done in judo, but what they do in the community, so that the kids understand that judo is your whole body, your whole being. It's not just what you do in the club. You're representing the club out in the community. So everybody needs to be, you need to help your fellow person, your friends, and take care of your friends, not just in the club, but also in school or your siblings. And he's very good at giving the kids the time they need and answering their questions and answering the parents' questions. Oops.
Thanks, Margie. Cecil, did you have a question or comment?
Fat finger something. I want to wait until the end to ask questions.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, Kevin, sorry.
All right, sorry. So other things that we do is that, we try to support other clubs. Obviously, ones that were struggling through COVID, we attend, some financial donations through too. We've provided mats to, I think, 8 other clubs already. That, as we replace or upgrade mats or something going through, or clubs are starting out, we've given them our mats, and then we wind up purchasing, newer, different mats going through. We've shared I purchased my own tournament mats going through, and my own care systems and stuff. So we loan those out to other clubs and other people that are running tournaments and stuff going through. We recycle a lot of gis and trophies and stuff going through. We provide gis to all of the wounded warriors that are going through the DCVA program. As we have extra medals and stuff, we use those for smaller shiais for other dojos that hand out as well too. And then obviously one of the big things we do is encourage our senseis to get out and to visit the other clubs in the area, not just judo clubs, but the jiu-jitsu or the MMA clubs, to kind of share judo and to get them a little more involved in the whole world of judo going through. And I think that goes a long way, building those relationships and helping us to grow judo going through. Like I said before, in my class, I really encourage others to lead. I try to work with a lot of the newer, younger students going through, work with the kids more, and let our seniors go through and do more of the teaching and stuff going through. A lot of them have been with me for many years and know how I teach and what I want. But at the same time, I encourage them to, add in their own styles and what they do and what else they can bring to the table. One of the big things I like doing too is when the kids bring in, good report card or, to bring them up in front of the class and share that. But then, if they want to lead, exercises that night, or they want to, do something special, we encourage that to go through, to again, share whatever else they're doing going through. A lot of my judoka come from all different, backgrounds. So, from other clubs, from other areas and stuff going through. So I always encourage the, judoka to get up to share their different ways of doing a technique or something going through. A lot of times they defer, back to me of, oh, we really like the way you teach or the way you show it. But to me, there's lots of different ways to do the same technique. If we have 20 different senseis on the mat and everybody shows Ogoshi, you're going to pick up a little bit of something from everybody else that is there. we do a lot of roundtable 360 feedback. So after we do randori or something, we'll bring the group together and say, let's talk about, let's go around. Who are the people that you worked with? What did they do well? What can they improve on? We try to focus more on what they did well. Marchie got a really good throw off on me, or John got, a really good Tayatoshi. I really didn't see it coming. I walked right into it. And really compliment each other on the things that they've done well, and encourage them to, hey, can you get up and show us, how did you hit that Tayatoshi really well, or, what did you do? So I think, that always builds confidence in everybody going through, that they always feel good about the things that they're doing. John Anderson, that I'm sure lots of people know, because he was an icon in judo for a lot of years. Always use the saying there at the bottom, by teaching we learn. And I've always, kept that at heart, that, every time I stand up and teach something, he would say, oh, what he's not telling you is this or that. And, John was incredible that he could take his leg and wrap it around my arm and do an arm lock. I was like, John, I'm half your age and I can't do those things. And he's like, but every time you teach something, you go back and learn it again. And, there's so many things that we forget to share or something going through. And that's why having good ukes is always great, to go back and share those things. We try to make our club a lot of fun, as well as sharing our judo and the life lessons and stuff going through. We do a lot of different kind of team building activities, going through, like Margie had shared. We do holiday potluck parties instead of having practice that night. We do summer picnics. We do a pool party going through. These obviously are at the dojo. We've done them up at the mountains at the lake. We've done them at people's houses with a pool. We have really fun water gun battles when we have the summer parties and stuff going through. And then we encourage the Judoka to get together outside the club as well. Like I said, my sister Diane likes visiting, breweries and wineries and stuff going through. My sister Margie goes on a lot of hikes. Some Judoka get together and, go on walks or go to museums, or, go play Frisbee golf or something else going through, or, regular golf. So it's always good to encourage them to, get together. Again, these are, great people that you're going to know for the rest of your life, that are going to help you, again, to get better. So we encourage a lot of, fun things inside the club and outside the club going through. Some of the fun things we did during COVID was, we've been closed since March, and we're not actually open yet. We're going to open back up right after Labor Day. But I had the two pictures that are up there were things that we built and had each kid make to work out at home. So the top one is our judo buddy, and he was he's a sweatshirt with a pillow in as his body and a pillow as a head, and then his arms are two towels rolled up and stuffed in, and then they put their gi top on them, and it gives them something to practice their holds on. They put it on the bottom and do their, Keiskatami, Yokoshio, and Kamishio going through, and then they put it on top, and they have to practice their escapes and stuff going through. So the kids had a lot of fun, working with their judo buddies going through, especially the little kids, and even the preschool type kids going through really had fun with their judo buddies. The one on the bottom was a pool noodle buddy that we made, and it's actually just 4 pool noodles, but it gave them arms and legs that could stand up and that they could hold on to, so they could practice, their foot sweeps, going through their ochigaris and kochigaris, and they could fit into their throws, and they could throw it without, tearing up their house or, beating their brother or sister up going through. So they really enjoyed having the pool noodle buddies as well. And I thought both of those things were, good, cheap, easy things for them to make with stuff. The pool noodle guy cost $4, and the other one was, hey, everybody has a hooded sweatshirt and a pillow and a towel at home. So there was no going out and buying, $200 practice dummies or something to go through and do. So that really helped us during COVID to go through and do those things. For our senior judoka, I focus a lot on the kids, obviously, because that's my growth for going through. But we've had judoka that have been in our club that have stayed a white belt the whole time that they were there. They have no interest in being promoted or going through. And even though I would encourage them to go through and do it, that to me is not why you're doing judo. And they said that as well, that they just love being a part of the club, being a part of the family, being a part of the sport and doing it. And the color of the belt really doesn't matter as long as they can participate going through. Our club, because of my dad, runs a lot of the clinics throughout the years in the area. We do a lot of, a rules clinic, a referees clinic. My sisters run a lot of the various katas going through, different teacher and player development clinics going through. We have a program that, we try to encourage our people to become referees and to grow. We just had one of our new Shodans just got his national referee. We have another Sandan that's testing for his national referee coming up in September now. So it's always good to see them stepping up the different levels going through as well. A lot of our judoka, because of my sister Diane and Margie doing so much with kata, come to the class just to learn kata. And Diane has traveled the world with my brother Carl, learning kata and competing in it. And they give that back every weekend. They're down at a club, helping teach or helping refine kata for people going through. So it's always that giving back and paying it forward to other people that we try to stress in all of our judoka. That makes them better and encouraging them to, not everybody's going to be a great competitor, but there are lots of ways to, give back to just judo itself, whether it's, being a referee or a coach or, some type of technical support assistance going through. So for our club, we give out 3 awards every year that are not usually within our club. They're people outside of our club. The one is always in honor of my dad, who just embodied his whole spirit of judo going through. Another one was for James Gosnell. There was a young kid in our club, and he traveled with my dad all the time. And interesting enough about him, he never won a judo match. He lost pretty much every match he went for, but he traveled every weekend, and he just loved being a part of judo and traveling and being with our family and stuff going through. He helped put a setup for all the tournaments, and he was in college, and he got up one morning to go to work, and he had an old beat up truck, and it was leaking carbon monoxide, and he passed out about a mile from his house and died. But we always give an award of what an inspiration he was and how much he loved judo going through. And then we give out a 3rd award that is the Mark Smith Judoka award for people that just love judo and share it and enjoy spreading it. People like Lisa and Rob. That's their life. That's what they enjoy doing, and they enjoy giving. So again, it's annual awards that we give out every year going through. One of the things that it was always told to me is, what's your exit strategy? You're not getting any younger. What are you doing to develop your judoka? Who's going to take over for you? Are they going to have different teaching styles and stuff going through? I think I'm very different than, my dad going through. I have a lot of similarities and a lot of love the same. And I had a lot of great mentors going through, and I tried to take all of that and share it with everybody else, so that, that there are lots of people to pick up, to take over the events, to take over teaching, to grow judo. That it's not going to end with, one person or anything else going through that, okay, well, we're not going to have it anymore. So always think about that as you're going through, of who in your club is your successor going through, who's going to take over, who you're growing, who you're grooming. Encourage that growth and development within your club, from your parents to your kids to your adults and everybody going through. I think that's always kind of important. So, in summary, because I think we're getting close to the end here, everybody has something to contribute to judo. Everybody is really a good judoka, and it's just encouraging that growth, encouraging, them to become good people, to educate themselves, to do something better every day, to improve is our legacy in judo. Stressing, like I said, Judoka, that we all benefit from everything we do, whether it's helping our partner to learn, helping our family at home, helping others that, always giving back and sharing of ourselves going through. Judo's developing the whole person. There's, a spiritual side. Sensei Kaufman's a reverend down here, and he spent a lot of his classes, talking about, God and the Holy Spirit and stuff going through too. It's very emotional for a lot of people. Have been through different challenges and stuff going through. And judo's very much obviously a mental and a physical game going through. I often talk about how, judo is a game of checkers, and they're like, Sensei, how do you always know? They're like 4 moves ahead of us whenever we're trying to randori with you, whenever we're trying to move. And it's, I just enjoy what I do. And, I let you do the move, and, I just take what you give me going through. And like I said, judo is all about character. It's all about quality people, building people that I am proud, to say that I helped teach, or I had a part in, their growth and their development. So those are just some of the things that, I've done in HUEO going through. I try to share as much as I can going through, and I'm sure everybody has, different ways or different things that they go through and do. But I thank everybody for joining in today, and I hope everybody got a little bit out of what we did. Do we have any questions or other comments?
You probably said that. How long has your dojo existed?
Say again?
How long has your dojo existed? You may have covered it at the beginning, but I missed it.
Yeah, we actually started in the early 70s. I think 1972 is when, I started in. My dad had started it through Maryland Park and Planning with in Berwyn Heights. And then when we outgrew that in 1980, because our club was bigger, we moved over to the Beltsville Community Center. We've been there for the last 40 years now, 42 years.
And what's been your average membership?
I would say we stick around, 40 to 50 people going through. We practice in a gym, so we have 2 full mat sizes. We run a kids beginners class, an adult beginners class, an intermediate class, and then kind of an advanced topics that does a lot of, kata and other things going through.
Afterwards, I'd like to connect with you because it sounds like we have a very similar approach.
I tell you, I'd be happy to do that, Gary. I was very happy. I got to go to the Kodokan 2 years ago, and it was actually a gift from the dojo to me. All the parents got together and brought up a collection and said, it's Sensei, this is one of your dreams to go to the Kodokan, and you've never been. So they made a collection and collected a bunch of money for me to go. So my wife and I went over, and it was a dream come true. But the biggest thing for me when I went to the Kodokan is hearing all of the same things. Of the way that I teach and the message that I give is what the Kodokan, going through and doing the same thing, working on the basics, stressing character, it was just so, fulfilling to go over there and hear those same things of this is what the Kodokan teaching, and that's exactly what I'm able to go through and do as well. So.
All right, let me jump in. We'll go with Cecil and then with Mickey. All right, Cecil.
Hi, I was just curious about what other tactics and approaches you guys have used to teach during COVID, and if anybody's having any success with teaching online for judo.
So I'll say for me, we ran through COVID. We did Zoom classes all the way through. We did our same Tuesday, Thursday classes, and then I ran a Wednesday class for the kids. And obviously it's a different type of class because it's a lot of, Taiso, a lot of just shadow uchikomi, using some of the, the props that we did. But, it was a smaller class, obviously, because Zoom didn't work for everybody. But we had people join from, Charlottesville, Virginia, that were down there, from Virginia Beach, from Southern Maryland. People from all over would jump on and say, hey, can we join your class? And sure, we're happy to share what we're doing. Again, it's a different way of doing it, but we kept going that way.
We'll have Mickey.
I just wanted to say thank you, Kevin. And second, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to your mom, Dottie Tamai, who is really the superhero of the Tamai family. She raised those 6 children who were 6 years old and younger, all at the same time. I could never believe how she had you guys under control, and you guys all came out so good. But I really do want to, your mom is just she's a superhero in my book, as well as your dad. And I've enjoyed being